Recovery. You ever gone through a recovery program? Hope you're here. Recovery. I was an alcoholic. How did I recover? I went to AA program on my own. Now it takes work, but you got to work with people there. Now, who's going to counsel you? A doctor? Put some pills in there. You could do that. He was doing that, and that was Keith Moon. He died. You can use all sorts of sessions. But I went to they actually it was formulated by Jungian psychology, AA. Are they experts? What makes an expert? Huh? A man, your sponsor might be an expert, a man that had trouble with alcohol, right? He solved the problem by following the 12-step program, right? And he's always there. You can go around the house. I'm going to have a friggin' drink today. I can't take this, boss. What's he say to you? I got tea on here. Sit down. He's always there. You're going through, you're working the program. You're working on Serenity Prayer. You're working on listening to the program, and you're going, and you're making an active choice in your life. Yeah, so I go to my sponsor. Yeah, Greg, I was drunk too. And to admit you're drunk and you're sober means you're qualified, doesn't it? You work the 12-step program, you get sober. A drug addict that's recovered might be better than a clinician, to help you through a program. So, okay, I had that problem. So they go to the doctor. He was in the psych ward because he was a drunk. So he took up being a psychiatrist. He says, I think you got bipolarity. Oh. But he's a clinician, right? He's a psychiatrist. So he says, I think, it's a brain illness. Oh. So he gets me, this is the problem with psychiatry in the clinical situation. He gets a CAT scan done. I can't find anything. No, because there's no way you can test bipolarity except by a DSM manual. But I was looking at what was happening in my life. I'm going to tell you what was happening. And I really got journaling, but it took years to figure this out. I was driving taxi, which is something I can't do. Now, the new findings are I'm a highly sensitive empath. And when we're driving taxis 10 hours a night or 12 hours, our neurology cannot take listening to. Doesn't mean I don't have a heart. I didn't have any emotional intelligence to handle every story that a person tells me. Okay. So I helped the guy that had that problem in Calgary. He got well. I have PTSD. I helped military get well. What am I qualified? Well, I started studying online. And I think doing the self-work, like the AA program, is a self-directed discipline of getting well. And then I had this bipolarity. I'm going to try somebody else. Well, they work out in Raymond, Alberta. They're True Hope and Power. You remember them? Do you know those people all had bipolarity? Yeah. Are they experts? Are they experts? Well, they're trained to manipulate those micronutrients. I want you to listen to this. They're trained to manipulate the micronutrients because they've been trained, but they got well on it. So they took on the job of working in Raymond and talking to you. And people say they're not experts. They're the experts. But have they ever suffered the bipolarity? They're just reading a book learned, just like this variance. So they said they're not experts. I wouldn't go to them. Well, I went to them and I go, well, they were giving me advice and telling me what they think bipolarity is. Being in agriculture, I think they're right. He says, look at the level of micronutrients going down in farm fields. Copper levels have dropped 40%. Ooh, because she's a farm girl. So maybe that's an expert that's looking at a variance there. You know, True Hope got me well just in a couple of weeks. How? Well, I was on so much chemicals, and it was just upping and upping it and upping it. This is my personal life. I was driving taxi and burned out. How many people burning out in jobs now because they don't fit them? So the myth and normal is quite wide. And does it mean you give up the job? No, you've got to change gears. She's I'm seeing teachers burning out with this system. That's too many kids and they can't do it, though they have a master's degree. So we got to look at that as maybe she's an empath or sensitive. She can't tolerate it. There's a lot of women I've talked to in nursing in that field that can't do that. But there's other women that get into it. I got an MBA. Why am I going to throw it away? No, they got world-class online learning, and they can teach anything with the learning skills that they learn. But let's say you're out of work, you can't do it, and you can't think. Somebody's got to come around and say, hey, what are you going to do? Get another MBA? Yeah, I might try social work because I want to help people. So she's got the archetype of a helper. But that's another 5 years, isn't it? Mm-hmm. When she's already got a foundation of education. But because the brain shut down and he couldn't do it, she sits in a coffee shop. I don't know what I'm going to do next. That's what I'm meeting. You know, Starbucks is full of those girls sitting there with laptop computers, and I don't know what to do next. She was trying to help me because I was homeless. But I was helping her, and I started learning. I said, what do you do now? Well, I go out, and I love hiking, and I love yoga class. Sounds like you're an sensitive. You got those traits. And you got the archetype of a nurturer. You want to nurture children. But the industrial system of the overflooded system of public health teaching's too much for you. How many nurses get into a line of work and the system just whizzes them out? Yeah. But when you're in those systems, your neurology's shut down. You can't think. So are you an expert? Yeah, I'd say you're an expert. You got a PhD, you got a medical degree or anything. Some people don't fit every box. And I think Dr. Gabor Mate really comes out with the myth and normal. We're all a little different. We know about the neurology and the different variances in our careers. And we burn out. Oh, hell yeah. How many nurses burn out? How many doctors burn out? Come on. Is it the institution? Well, some people are pretty tough. They're pretty, I'm not saying they're better, but they could be if they're tough to handle the institutionalized system. The other ones? No, they're not meant for that. So healthcare can be varied, like a medical nurse might be better to go out and drive around and be a medical nurse practitioner going around helping older people in the country or something, With a car, My mother did that for a while. She was giving insulin injections to old people. See, she was burning out. She had a job burnout. She couldn't do it. But this is happening at an alarming rate. And what I'm seeing is getting worse. These young women are burning out, and they're losing their compassion. I talked to a nurse instructor. They're losing the compassion. They're just flipping out. It's the neurology of their brains shutting down. Police and violence, police, everything gets too much stress on them. Repeated crime, repeated this, that. So they burn out or they get into police brutality and everything breaks down. So there's not one fit for everybody. And maybe learning some psychology or running a system might cut this out. Oh, almost knocked the computer off. These phones has got Blinkist. I'm listening to a lot of neurology of business situations where people can't work at everything. Everybody's a little different. Like he's sitting in the park and he's gone through a midlife crisis. So he missed the boat as a professional baseball player. But they don't ask him the question, why are you so depressed? I want to play pro baseball. But I'm 39. What am I going to do now? They were going to give him assisted death. Well, he could go out and kill himself and save money, but I don't think people are looking at what that person is and listening to. Where do you start? Get the DSM manual out there and we got the label down. Well, you go to a group of symptoms, right? But you're not getting down to the rudiment of the problem. Happier level of doing something else. So I said, why don't you get into coaching? Huh? Would that make you happy? So you messed the boat, but maybe that kid you're coaching might make the boat. He's going to transfer all the knowledge you got in your society about baseball. All of a sudden, he doesn't want to die. That sounds like a plan. See? Because life doesn't go down the straight and narrow all the time. And I know myself, I was in the music industry. What happened to me? I never stuck it out. And then I got back to it and I just realized you got to do more woodshed, more learning, and more musical theory, and I picked up instruments. I did everything that way. So here's me. I go to an industrial psychologist. And he says, you can learn on your own. Yeah. Anything. They give you that key, go for it. Go to a clinical psychologist, that's grandiose thinking about bipolar. So there's two camps there, the ivory tower camp. So what I got to do, prove it? What you got to do, prove it? Got to brag? Oh, I said, it sounds like you're bragging, great, but brag like hell if you can play all those instruments. Like when we're trying to survive, we pick up something that might make a cognitive function of survival. And it seemed to be piano, restringing the guitar, retuning and getting into fingerstyle, and an electric guitar, and a harmonica. I don't play drums yet, but so I got questioning that. Oh, I think, what's missing? I need to learn musical theory and read notation, so I'm learning. Oh, that's just so bad that we fall for the dark. So I'm putting things together in sequences. I took holistic healthcare. What can you do with that? It's an income to buy gear and beer. So at 70, a man wants to be sustainably living, right? I'm not living at all. I got no food. I have a business, but it's not going to go here. Because nobody's helping me. I asked them to help me with the business, give me the license. Nah, they keep on canceling. Well, I'm right down to the point I can't even pay rent, so I'm not paying rent. So I use AI, and what am I doing now? I'm suing them. I'm just going to get a lawyer and I'm clear this up. The pension's pretty well protected, but he's not helping me cancel the law. But I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish this darn thing here. I got a phone, and he says, cut the phone kind down. No, I'm moving out. And then they can go after me. But what I do today is I'll scan all the documents in there. And I can transfer them to and I ask the AI, what should I do? You need a civil law firm to help you with estate mitigation. Just one clicker. I found it narrowed it down one clicker because I'm living in Canada. I've had a lot of crap with this broken system. Um, and looking at my post traumatic stress and my trauma, opening a case, it takes months. So they said that'd take years. It's all right. Get my business going. And I'll go to Australia and put the lawsuit through, and we can do it on a Zoom call because that's where it's all going now. I don't mind. And get tax consultants, and if it's a lot of money, all right. I'll sue psychiatrists too if I can do it. Oh, it's 40 years. It's money on top of money on top of money. We got to level up things. Now, can that work? Well, if we're getting into things, we back it up with one thing to the other. You got to move ahead, and everybody's scared. I don't want to move ahead. Intelligence is telling you to have multifaceted plans. So the one plan is I got to get a place to live in Ottawa. What do? I just pay. I have no credit score, but I got pension. Probably more. I can get my income tax done and probably back carbon tax. If they don't get Pierre to pay out, yep, in there, and I'm getting political. That's probably why I'm leaving if he wins. Yeah, why would I want to live in a country where you won't tear down the real estate market? Tell everybody to work. My family comes from Australia, and they did that too. They were all brogans and criminals coming up in handcuffs. You're going to throw them in jail. Well, you better get another island to throw them on. That's the way I look at it. Because that doesn't make sense. But to you, it seems to make sense. Punish the poverty. Whip it good. But, are you an expert? You backed up your bureaucrat. Mark Carney, an economist. Sounds like a better person. Sounds like a better person. The doctor's a doctor. The economist, he's a doctor in economy. Mark Carney's younger than me. Maybe he doesn't know anything. He knows more than I did. he's 10 years younger. But what the heck is wrong with that? I mean, some young guys here know a lot more than me. They're maybe 25. They know computer coding, so I don't know that. So is it an age variance of who's senior? If you got a certain skill, you're probably better than me at it. I don't want to get into ages and these things. Some people are better. I noticed one nurse, she was a trainee. She was a medical practitioner trainee, working for the doctor. She was only 20, but I liked what she was doing. She says, tell me about your history. Wow. That is a medical psychologist. Your history. That is getting like Conan Doyle. Looking at the situation where all these illnesses come from. So I told these other medical students that that's back in the days where they had leeches, maybe. But it was also a foundation of knowing. Sending me a naked picture. What that did to me, cognitive function there. I don't know who you are, and I don't know if you got it in my email and put it in your box. It might cause a brain reaction, naked woman in the phone, but it's not interesting. See our brains, how they think. I guess my hormonals going down. I'm slowing down. I look at it as this big butt. those pictures anywhere. It's a plane, I said to my cousin, I'd like to buy some of these opals here. Oh, they're common. Well, this is common. The woman on the phone all the time. That's common all the time. You don't want that. It's too common. Am I being funny? Well, look at this. You used to have to read medical manuals to look at a naked woman or a little boy. Now they just send them to you and try to scam you. Isn't it a wonderful world, the variances of life? Police said to me, you seem like you're very intelligent. Well, I'm trying to be because I'm trying to save my butt end to get through all this legal system. And one thing, if I did a precedence, is I hope you come up with more than a 2-year trial period on programs. I'm looking at the variances. I couldn't get a lawyer. This is in the wrong jurisdiction because they're all working together here to get into the free market capitalism. It makes more money. You want to get a civil lawyer, a lawyer to defend you for. There's too many of them doing criminal law. In other words, you may do in criminal law getting the guy that shot at your girl, the woman that's being raped, getting him out of jail. So we come down to the type of legal system where there's too many chiefs, not enough Indians, maybe. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Look at that. That's a distraction. Oh, naked woman trying to scam you. Just answer, no, hack your phone, never happens. The way you do it. I think it's just sort of a hook, like a website. So you take it and you forget to delete it because they can scam you and hack you. So you go right here, block, and then you slide across and delete. Oh yeah, that's not interesting. See, just delete it. Delete and report junk that functions. Too bad how the crime system didn't work that junk buoy, but it doesn't. But we can do that with technology because it's more automated than people. See my point here? Nothing fitting together anymore. Phone fits things together. I just delete junk. But that political system, the medical system, nothing works there really. So when I read Eisenberg sent a growth his suggestions for this, if the economy's crashing, people are homeless, they need a lawyer, they need maybe a therapist. Put it all in one. They're all over the place like a bug's breakfast, and that makes less frustration to get them housed or get them somewhere else. This is a mess. All they did is throw me in here. I didn't want to come here. I just want a hotel California. But I didn't know it would take 5 years and that I've never gotten anywhere. So what do you do, Greg? I'm getting the bus stop. Oh, what are you going to do there? Well, the phone's indicating that there's places I can rent for a temporary stay. And I got butter off out of Canada. I've had enough. I've had enough of this. And if I'm not, maybe I'm joining all the other people that have left. How many last year? In the 65 plus. 245 million. Thousand, yeah, 245,000. We're making room for you. We're not dying. We're getting all the way. You don't have to bury us. So you're welcome to Canada. But why are we leaving? Because you probably won't survive if you don't fix things. Now, this could be political. It could be the way you do things and what you invest in. If you want to invest in the real estate market, there'll be another one coming up and invest in. You want to elect Mark Carney, have the restriction, or get people to join in to say, no, I'm not putting it in the commodity market house. That's a simple solution. That gives you options like, let's talk about environment. That's a judgment. You don't have to be forced into it, but you can do it. And not tell people. I choose not to eat meat, and but I'm not telling you to not eat meat. It's just my personal preference. We can do these things willingly. We make change as an individual. Sometimes make a lot of change. You never know. You never know. You live by your own standards. You don't go around forcing people to do things. Look at what she's doing. She's going to throw them into a institutionalized horse treatment plan. Well, I used to train horses, and here's the word about it. It whispers that you take from your throat, but right there you're going to get off these shirts. You might refund, you might go back. I don't think that's a good way. I think more, but leave them on the street, I don't agree with that either. Where's the middle path on health? Drug addiction. I think it's repeat offend. Just go through the system, and have a choice. Go on program. Because we can keep on re-offending and just show them. You think this is good? Maybe make it a little more penal. You know, this time you're going away for a little longer. It's called, one of my shipper, we get called in, Linda Conn wrote a book on this. The way the training horses. 5 stages of master horsemanship. You raise the level. And then they might say, maybe I could try something. That is fine. If they're spending more time in prison instead of just giving the constant sentence, a little longer. But, yeah. It's turning up the temperature by gauge. Oh, that's a little hot. Yeah. Want to go back and do it again? We'll turn up the heat a little bit more. More time in jail. Now, that is a reforming system, maybe. And it's giving a little variance of options. We got a drug epidemic. And why? Well, we can get the rudiments that the social media is killing everybody. We get the rudiments that the housing situation is killing people, too. But that, everybody's got choices. A lot of people choose Mark Carney, but the other one's not offering options. But if they want to elect them, what are we going to do? Will Canada fall by a bad election, an election that doesn't go that way? I'm not going to say it's going bad. But if you choose that, because I'm leaving just in case you do, I'm leaving anyway, so I'm like, whether I'm going to go to Australia, I got no family here. But this is up to you as Canadian. You can choose Mark Carney and regulate the markets, or you can choose Pierre Poilievre. He's pretty close. And if that goes on, you're going to have crime, so choose some other options there. I'm going to tell you something. I look at that before he's being put down to working with the system. And he's progressive conservative. And he's working at the economic stages of this tariff system. And I'm going to tell you, I think that's doing good. He's opening their minds up, because if we haven't got fossil fuels that are up on our economy, that's going to open up the going plans. That's jobs. I don't care if it's open again. You gotta get all of that damn stuff out there fast. We got to open pit in Alberta too. So, that's wise. That's quite wise. He's doing a lot of things. He's even looking at things. When the Green Party won in Kitchener, the renewable fund, he didn't demonize it. He's changing plans. Because, we can keep on printing money, paying for elders' support and getting these plans and throwing money at it, but it comes to a pinnacle. So that's considering adopting renewable energy programs. So that changed everything with that little injection of two ridings in Ontario going green. It did. So that's they're telling you, maybe we need to come to options on things. Well, I'll tell you something about the Green Party. I was in it. We're not here to win the election. We're here to moderate it, okay? We could go all green, but people won't go all green. And I don't think Mark Carney's going all green. He's giving you options. He's going to charge a carbon tax. He's going to lower the prices on taxation and stuff. But these are options. Because I'm going to tell you something. Everybody, this is an election. I have no right to choose. I live in Canada, but I have a right to do what Boots does. Moderate your mind to make choices. But if you want to hear, consider what options there is there. And what will happen if you don't regulate the market, you choose. And you got to survive it. If you chose that suit on, well, you got to fit it right and wear it. You choose to elect here, it'll be the one method you're going to have to look at. Because the markets won't go down that way. The markets will go down the other way, but you make choices. So I was in politics, and I think that's a good way. I was just a candidate, running for candidate, and I made it. But I went to party meetings, and I should have took candidate. I was so scared. But they asked me if I want to run for candidate for the Green Party of Ontario. It was a tough going. You get hated because all the car drivers out there. But, the Green Party's never really wanted to take over and force you. The Green Party wanted to be the middle of mediation of helping groups. And is the Green Party just green? It's no. It's looking at other structures like the classroom sizes are way too big. So if they could get in a few seats in, they might say maybe we should. And the other politicians say, let's lower the classroom sizes. A lot of good policies there. And it's just a lever up in a political system. But now they got 2 seats, they're very low and weak. So anybody that's an environmentalist or is concerned about the environment has to, if you choose a power that is not really concerned about the environment, you have the options of doing things right. It's too bad if they take the carbon tax out because you're not getting paid for it. It's not being considered. But that's the way she's going to cook with some political manipulation and polarization. But, we can downsize our cars and how many mics, and Steve says, how many cars do you need? How much fuel do you use? What's your driving habits? When do you use more fuel? Can you walk? Can you take, I was just as bad. I used to drive a block. And it was ridiculous. And I started walking the block and walking by it. But it's such an addiction, isn't it? Leave the car at home. It's going to take me a half hour to get there. When I got to the point, I sold the car and I'd walk an hour. Am I crazy? It's a good change. So a lot of communities are very walkable. You got that walk score. That walk country walks, that's a little hard. It's what you choose. And then you can have the variance of having a vehicle for part of the week. Lots of variances and lots of freedom there. Anyways, these are thoughts for notes and discussion on variable factors of our lives. Because we're free human beings.